doing deep cuts. Like Ray had a Birkot Shachar joke. We have Camila Cabello parodies. This is exciting. Now I feel like I'm showing clavicle. I feel like the slutty secular one. There are many different kinds of Jews. There are a lot of from Jews. There's Seinfeld Jews, cultural Jews, Reform Jews. I'm a psychiatric Jew. The DSM-5 is my Torah, and there are quite literally 5 books. I experience my religion through therapy. I think it's difficult these days because 60% of anxiety disorders are misdiagnosed as Judaism. But I'm one of the chosen people who checks off both the boxes. You may have seen me earlier. With the exception of right now, I've been masking indoors, which establishes right away that I do have an anxiety disorder. Masks truly are the yarmulke of the face. Oh, but this is so exciting. This is so refreshing because this is the exact opposite of the audiences I had this summer. I was doing stand-up in the UK. I know you don't want to dump on the UK right now. They're sitting Shiva. They're having a hard time. But the thing about the UK is they wouldn't even get that sitting Shiva reference. Coming from New York, I'm a New Yorker. They say that if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. But that is not the case with Jewish jokes. Literally, after one show in Edinburgh, Scotland, the host came up to me and he's like, just so you know, British people don't know what a bris is. Right? So then I took it upon myself to explain to British people what a bris is. I was like, oh, and then I also found out through crowd work, sadly not through personal first-hand research, that most men in the UK aren't even circumcised. Yeah, so then I would go up on stage and I was like, okay, so a bris is like a christening. It's a party, you give the baby their name, there's a buffet with sandwiches after. If there's one thing Jews and British people have in common, it's a love of tiny sandwiches. And then so a bris is basically a christening with more dick. Or technically less dick. Yeah. So as you could tell, I'm single. It's true, I'm single and have the antibodies for shingles. I had them when I was in grade 4. And I'm on the apps because it's the only way to meet people other than by being cast in a Spider-Man movie. It's really not fair. Spider-Man movie has a 100% success rate. Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, Zendaya and Tom Holland. And the rest of us are left at the mercy of the algorithm. And I've met some really boring people. I was on a date the other week, and at one point, we were sitting at the bar, and the guy took out his phone to show me his NFTs. I know, it's so sad. And I'm not a gold digger. I will date someone even if every single one of their tokens is fungible. If anything, I'm more impressed by fungible tokens than I am by non-fungible tokens. But sitting there nodding, pretending to be impressed, it had occurred to me that NFTs and cryptocurrency are to bros. It's their equivalent of love and romance. It's putting your hope and faith in an intangible thing and desperately praying that it'll reap rewards in the future. I don't do crypto, but I might as well because I've made some very bad investments. I also, another date, I went on a date with a gerontologist, which if you need a recommendation, I cannot give it to you because it did not go well. Gerontologist, doctor who specializes in old people medicine, I believe is the scientific term. And so we were sitting at the bar, and I had run out of my generic questions, and he wasn't asking me anything. So I desperate times called for desperate measures. I had just been home in Toronto for my cousin's wedding, which meant I had this awesome video of my grandpa dancing at the wedding. Like, if there's anything men finds irresistible, it's 95-year-old Orli Matlow dancing to Motown's greatest hits. So I was like, yeah, I was home for this wedding, like, look at this adorable video of my grandpa. And he said, wow, that's a very good fall prevention stance. He said, because you know that if an old person falls and breaks their hip, there's an 80% chance they'll be dead within the year. And this is a date, so I'm just like, wow, I bet you say that to all the girls. Yeah, it's a hard knock life for us. Yeah, this is exciting. I do a lot of over seasons 1 and 2 of the pandemic. I did a lot of Zoom shows for synagogues, and synagogues. These are conservative and reform synagogues. So rather than like encourage shomer nagia, like not touching. Like there's two kinds of Judaism. There's the groups that discourage touching each other, and there's the group that actively encourages touching each other. Like, I grew up going to Camp Rama in Canada, and like, Jewish camp, it's the opposite of Christian camp in that, like, you feel guilty if you don't lose your virginity. Like, my parents were so disappointed in me when I came back from Sayuri with not a body count. And it's fun, and yeah, I talk about how Judaism is an interesting religion, because rather than the other ones who they say like, oh, you got to do good deeds so you get into heaven. That's the point. Whereas we're not focused on the world to come. Being Jewish in Hebrew school, you're taught that the purpose of being Jewish is to pru urvu, which means be fruitful and multiply. So it's basically the world's oldest pyramid scheme. And it worked. We did it. We're still here. Yeah, being in the UK was very interesting. There are some other differences. Like in the UK, if you're in an emergency and you need an ambulance, you call 999. But in the US, if you're in an emergency and you need an ambulance, you die because you don't have health insurance. Yeah, it's rough. I came from Canada, so that's why this isn't black, but no, I'm mourning Her Majesty. She was a great example of she wore many different hats. Literally, she had an impressive hat collection. But being Canadian is interesting because it's like the bastard child between England and America. Like tomorrow, all of Canada is closed tomorrow for the Fune. Like, yeah, I've been obsessed with calling the funeral the Fune, so I've just been bringing it up at any possible moment. Yeah, in Canada, it's interesting because like the Queen is our mom. We're the bastard childs between England and America. The Queen is our mum. We're still like suckling at the teats in the Commonwealth, and the Queen is on all our money still. I bet currency will be devalued as soon as you put Charles's face on it. Like the irony of like royals seldom have the faces that you want to see on money. But the Queen is our mom, and then America here, it's our racist, reckless, cool dad who divorced mom in 1776 and tried to get custody back in 1812. And everyone loves War of 1812 jokes. But Canadians, like, we still want to be like you guys, because the world is as obsessed with America as you are obsessed with yourselves. Yeah, so the name of the show is Lol Nidrei, and next week we're celebrating Rosh Hashanah, obviously. And so to the goy in the room, hey, how's it going? Congratulations on making it this far. But just so you know, so Jewish New Year is different from like secular New Year. Like there's no ball drop. Like In Jewish culture, the ball drop is the bar mitzvah.